Parsha begins with the verse, Ve'ela ha-mishpatim asher tasim lefnehem. And these are the laws that you shall place before them. So God told Moshe after the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. I would like to zero in on the first word, and not only the first word, but the first letter of the Parsha, Ve'ela, or rather the Vav of Ve'ela, and these. Vav, the prefix Vav, means and. And it's an interesting way to start off the Parsha, because after all, that word and is a conjunctive word. And how are we starting off the Parsha with the word and these? And Rashi points out famously that's really connecting to the previous Parsha of Yisro, where the Ten Commandments were given, the Torah was given at Mount Sinai. And we know the divine revelation that the Jewish people experienced as a national experience in last week's Parsha. We're connecting it to that previous episode. And Rashi famously says, Ma harishonim mi Sinai af elu mi Sinai. Just as the earlier words were taught at Sinai in a divine manner, so too these laws were also taught at Sinai. And what are these laws? These are laws that tell us how to regulate tort and monetary damages and very mundane issues. You know, when you have to lend money to somebody else and how to repay the damages that you may have inflicted upon his or her property. It doesn't necessarily sound so spiritual, rather very mundane. But what Rashi's teaching us is Maharishonim mi Sinai, just as the earlier words, the powerful words of faith in God and all those lofty ideas were spiritual because we learned them at Mount Sinai, so too these seemingly mundane laws are also spiritual because they were taught to us at Mount Sinai as well. And this really underscores a basic tenet of Judaism, and that is that throughout our lives, even some things which seem rather mundane, when we apply the Torah law to those everyday situations, we elevate the mundane. We elevate our everyday lives by infusing spirituality in it. So even if you're just lending money to an individual, or you're repaying somebody for a monetary loss, or whatever it is, you are infusing your life with holiness and spirituality by following the wisdom of the Torah in this regard. Folks, many times we wonder where our lives can be more spiritual and how they can be more spiritual, because after all, we're caught in the rat race many times and we don't necessarily see spirituality in our daily lives. Let us remember that every day is an opportunity that we can have to infuse the mundane with holiness, infuse the mundane with spirituality by internalizing the Word of God in our daily life. Have a wonderful Shabbos.